Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Be the Man Dark Souls series. I'm Fox with FoxeoGames. This is episode 3. I do want to apologize. I realized that I uploaded the raw video file of the recording of the gameplay for episode 1 that had no commentary and wasn't edited and was just an absolute mess. My apologies, guys. I didn't mean to do that. I found out a little bit late. I got behind on checking on comments and all that stuff, and when I went to look at all the comments on my videos, I saw you guys were telling me, hey, Fox, you know, there's no commentary here. But one of you a-holes put that it's the best commentary ever. You know who you are. I both love and hate you at the same time. That's the kind of humor I can appreciate. Assuming it's humor. Maybe it's not. And I can appreciate that kind of swipe at me as well. Alright, guys, we're going to try to tackle Ornstein and Smo. And hopefully defeat them. Today's drink of choice is still brewing. It's hot black coffee. Trader Joe's coffee. Black. Dark. Darker than Dark Souls. Yes! I just realized we're going to be tackling Ornstein as Ornstein. That's so cool. Guys, the topic of this entire series has been Be the Man. I did not actually have the title decided when I recorded the first episode, so I don't actually say that title anywhere in the first episode, but the first episode fits quite nicely. We talked about middle point of origin. Being the man is about choosing to be a man, and in this case, to be the man in your life, in the life of any woman that comes into your world. This includes your mom. Assuming you are at least 18 years old, this is most applicable to you. If you're not 18 years old, it's less applicable, but very useful and good to know ahead of time. Don't wait until you are a man to figure out what you should do as a man, right? Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till it's too late. That rhymes. So, one thing I want to talk about today is the concept of standing at a crossroads. And I actually heard this in a song I've been listening to. The term is, we're at a crossroads. There are points in a man's life where you come to a crossroads. It happens to women. It happens to kids. Not so much kids, but it can. It happens mainly to men. And this is a very, very masculine type thing. To come to a crossroads in your life, a point in which the path diverges, and you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision that will change the direction of your life. At that point, your ability to make the best decision for you, your ability to act out of yourself as your own mental point of origin, to have frame and control over what you're doing and why, is going to be critical. Let me give you some examples of a crossroads. One example of a crossroad would be deciding which college to go to. That would be an example of a crossroad, because what college you decide to go to determines where you live. It determines, you know, obviously what college you go to, what majors you can do, all that jazz. It can determine quite a lot. That is a fairly big decision. Another crossroads you come to, the common one, is whether or not to continue a relationship when you have to move away from the person. Oh, that was a terrible roll on my part. I'm about to die. Oh my goodness. Let me try this again here. Oh, he just left me alone. For no apparent reason, that's fine. Oh, nice. I thought for sure he was going to try to get back there and heal. Oh, there we go. Too bad Solaire's like halfway dead. Titanite chunk. Yeah, let's go open this up, just for the hell of it. So at this point, I'm going to push the plunger down on my French press. The coffee is done brewing. I let it brew for about 4 minutes. It's a very inexact science. My girlfriend notices how little I measure stuff. Like, even when I cook, I just sort of wing it. When you come to a crossroads in your life, you'll know it because you'll have this impending sense of dread at making the wrong decision. You'll have this impending sense that what you're about to decide will change things for a long time, for the rest of your life. If you're with a girl and she's been pushing you to get married, you know she's not, you're not really sure, but you kind of feel like this is not really the thing for you, but you've just been together for so long, maybe you ought to just go ahead and do it. That's a crossroads in your life. Do you decide to ask her to marry you? Because that's just, you know, you guys have just been a couple and you've just been moving along and that's what you're, quote, supposed to do. Do you ask her to marry you? Or do you end the relationship because you feel like maybe this isn't really the best thing for you? That's a crossroads. That's a major crossroads in your life right there. That'll determine a lot for you. Wow, that was quick. I like that. I do have allergies, guys. I don't have the dreaded COVID-19, which really isn't that dreaded at all. A new video came out by Project Veritas verifying that people are being falsely labeled as having COVID-19 when they don't. Of course, I already knew that. Most of you probably didn't. By labeling people as having the disease, the states can get more funding. Hospitals can get more funding. Municipalities can get more funding. States can get more funding. There's plenty of funding to be had. Plenty of money to go around, but you gotta label yourself. You gotta have the labels. This is actually a pretty easy fight so far. That's his most dreaded move right there. That's the one that kills me. When he does that charge attack. And it's always good to have a column between you and him when he does a charge attack. Oh, I forgot I have that. Uh-oh. Woo! I think I barely got out of the way of that. Nice. Shoot. Oh, okay, I need to get some stuff between me and him. Don't want him to do that charge attack. Does that do nothing to him? Oh, shit. Oh, no, I'm in trouble now. Oh, fudge. Okay. There we go. It almost looks like that does nothing to him. Oh, there we go. Okay. Just for some reason, it does nothing when he's in that. Alright, well, there we go. Okay. Just gotta be careful here. That charge attack is so deadly. Oh, so close. That one. Deadly. He likes to do it twice in a row, too, which is even more deadly. Now we got him. Done. So, when you're at those crossroads in your life, as a man, you're going to have to make a decision. No one else can make that for you. You shouldn't put that on anyone else. Last thing you should do is go to your mom and be like, hey, Mom, do you think I should marry this girl? I mean, you can get people's input, but never get it that way. That makes you look weak, like you're asking them whether you should do something or not. Instead, it'd be easy to do something like this. You know, Mom, Sarah wants me to marry her. And then Mom will give you input, most likely. Most moms will give you input at that point. If you know you shouldn't marry this chick, just, you know, don't. End the relationship at that point. If you're not going in the right direction. Now, this is coming from the assumption that you're one of those guys that's just going to get married anyway, even though marriage is a terrible idea. But regardless, I'm not an idiot, guys. I know that most of you are going to get married. You're gonna, even though you realize marriage is a bad idea, even though you realize it's all of the risk and none of the reward, even though you realize it's a government contract that locks you in and punishes you and gives the woman the ability to rape you in court, most of you are still going to do it. I know that. So I'm not dumb. Most of you are still going to think, well, it won't happen to me, or I'll make this work. And all I got to say is at least get a rock-solid prenuptial where you both have lawyers. Both of you. Each have a different lawyer. One lawyer cannot do a prenup for both of you. That's not a thing, because that lawyer cannot represent the interests of two opposing parties. And in a prenup, you would be two opposing parties. So you each have to have your own lawyer. If you get a lawyer and she doesn't, the court can argue that she did not have competent representation and throw the prenup out. So you don't want to do that. All right. Remember the big debate about who Gwyn's son is? People thought it was Solaire, and it's not Solaire. Oh, wait, yes, it is Solaire. No, it's not Solaire. Oh, well. Crossroads come up in your life frequently. Where to live? That's a big one. Sometimes you have to make a decision to move out of your parents' place, and at that point you can decide whether you're going to live nearby or move somewhere else completely different. And, oh, I forgot about that stupid archer up there. Actually, I just realized I don't need anything down there. So let's... You know, I almost never take this elevator. Let's do it. Let's take the big elevator. I've got my gear all upgraded. That's the one thing that makes these playthroughs much faster, is when the gear is all decided, it's all already upgraded, it's all ready to go. We will go to the Firelink Shrine and go get the Rite of Kindling. That's a great idea. This is good coffee, by the way. I just recently got a hold of some of this Trader Joe's dark coffee, and it's actually pretty good, and it's cheaper than Starbucks espresso beans on sale. You can get it in bean form, whole bean, so you can grind it up yourself, which is always a good idea for freshness. All right. So if you do have yourself as your mental point of origin, you're always going to make better decisions at the crossroads of your life. Always. You will always make better decisions. Actually, let's do this real quick so we unlock everything in case we ever go to one of these places. Skip, 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 skip. Thank you. Yep.
This is the now.
All right. Skip that as well. All right. And then we're gonna warp back up there and get a Rite of Kindling. So as long as you are your own mental point of origin, yeah, you're going to make better decisions. It doesn't mean you'll make the best decisions, but at least the decisions you make will be for yourself. And you're not unnecessarily sacrificing yourself for a woman who's probably going to end up leaving you anyway. Or you're going to end up leaving her. That's one of the reasons not to make big sacrifices for a woman in your life, because women come and go, but you're the forever aspect of your own life. You're there for as long as you're alive. I mean, I know that sounds silly to say, but it's true. And when you realize that, you start making better decisions for yourself. Because when she's gone, you're still alive, and you're still there, and you still have to live with the consequences of all the decisions you made. She doesn't. She's off. She's gone. She can do whatever she wants. You're stuck there with this realization of, oh, you know, I didn't follow my dream of this, and I didn't do that, and I didn't open that business I wanted, and I'm not working the job I want, or whatever the case may be. So, wouldn't it be nicer that if when a woman leaves you, or when you decide the relationship needs to end, you can say, well, you know what, I'm doing what I want to do anyway. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm where I want to be in life, so no big deal. She can leave. Oh, that's fine. I'll just find another woman. Instead of being at a situation where you're like, oh, okay, well, she left unexpectedly, and now here I am, living in a place I don't want to live, working a job I don't want to work. Yeah. Don't be in that situation. When you hit the crossroads in your life, make the best decision for you. And the honest truth is that in most cases, the best decision for you is going to be the best decision for the woman in your life, because she doesn't want you making decisions for her. If you can't live without her, you need to live without her. Okay? If you feel like you can't live without a woman, you have to live without her. It's most important that you live without her at that point. I wonder... Let's try something here. I'm probably going to push him too far back and then not be able to lock on. Yeah, right? Oh, wait, hang on. Well, let me make sure this guy doesn't knock me over the edge. Oh, shit. Yep. I figured that was going to happen. But hey, I killed him. So hey, who really won that? I'm coming back. He's not. Biggest crossroads in your life, whether or not to get married, moving in with a girl, or moving a girl in with you. What job to take, college to go to, where to live. These are like the biggest crossroads most men have in their life. Wait, how's he not dead? Get out of here, buddy. Those are sort of the big crossroads that most men find themselves in. But sometimes there are other crossroads. Crossroads that can involve legal troubles. Crossroads that can involve civil lawsuits. Crossroads that can involve... hang on. There we go. Whether or not to continue family relationships. All right, let's take the short route, shall we? Woo! Boom! He done got blowed up. I don't think I'm gonna get past the medium roll here. What do you guys think? Shit. Alright. We're gonna have to just run past this one. Oh, he didn't even notice us. Oh, I better get some, There we go. There we go. Well, I think we're going in backwards through this way, too. So. This is not the way to go. Wait, what am I doing? Am I being crazy here? I know what to do. Oh, shit. I knew that was going to happen. Anyway, I just should have jumped back down. So, we talked about crossroads. That's a good thing. One of the crossroads you'll hit in your life is whether or not to continue relationship, which we discussed, and that means whether to become what one guy I follow on or watch on YouTube calls a bachelor. And our term bachelor is interesting. We oftentimes think of bachelor as a single man who just hasn't found a woman yet, or a guy who is dating multiple women but none of them seriously. In most cases, I don't think most people interpret the word bachelor to mean a guy who's not going to be with a woman. But in some cases, I think people are using that term. There is the men going their own way crowd. And that is the... Shit. That's the crowd that believes that you shouldn't get involved in long-term relationships. They just don't work out in the end. They're not worth all the hassle. And... It's an interesting position to have. It's it's really hard to argue with these guys point by point because they're often correct with most of the points they make. Yes, it's really hard to argue the value of marriage at this point because it just is such a terrible deal for men. And even long-term relationships are dangerous. Most don't work out. I think a lot of guys make the mistake of thinking, well, if around 50% of marriages end in divorce, that means the other 50% are successful, right? And no, that's not how it works. The 50% or so that end in divorce, those are the ones that were obvious failures for one reason or another. The rest, say there's a 50% left that didn't end in divorce. That doesn't mean they're all living happily ever after in fairy tale land. This is a case where most of those, I would imagine, probably the majority, are quite unhappy. And they just don't want to bother getting a divorce, so they talk about it, but they feel like they can't yet, or they just feel bound, stuck in the situation they're in, and, you know. And they don't want to go to the trouble of actually getting a divorce. So, I don't want people thinking that the other half are automatic successes. I don't think it works that way. It's likely that the majority, the rest of them, are failures as well. Humanity and the homeward bone. I think we can... well, you know, we could try finishing this whole area since we're down here. It's an interesting idea. I don't have to sacrifice a shield for this because I never had one. How come Ornstein doesn't have a shield? Oh shit. I guess this is one way to do it, huh? Oh, well, there he goes. All right. Let's grab that. And this item over here, shall we? I usually don't get these items. Whoop. Uh-oh, but what's down there? Where am I going now? Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Shit. Oh, shoot. Oh, he got me. Well, that's fine. We're gonna warp on out of here at this point. We got what we came for. How about what do we want to do now? We're here, but you know, not totally feeling this area right now. Let's do the DLC. That sounds like a good idea. So we will go to Anorlando. So if you feel like you need a woman in your life, that is a great time to not have one. That is a really good time to not have a woman. Let's do this. Wherever I died, I didn't pick up my souls, but that's fine. We'll use that, and we'll use one of those. Okay. It's a great time to be single. It's a great time to decide to be a very intentional bachelor. And the idea behind that is you choose to focus on yourself and your goals. You choose to focus on building yourself up. And that is a really, really important time. I did not get as much of that time as I had expected to have after my marriage ended. But, I mean, if you count the time, my marriage took a while to end. You know, from the time the divorce was filed to the time it was finalized, there was a long period. It was ridiculous. But I can tell you that I considered myself divorced at the time that I chose to be divorced. I personally don't think a government agency decides what your relationship status is. They don't. You know, you don't go get a government certificate to declare that you're somebody's friend. You don't get a government certificate to be someone's roommate. You don't get a government certificate to have a boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance. So why do we get a government certificate to be married? It's asinine. It's literally a nutty, insane idea. The notion that you have to get approval from the government to consider yourself married. That should be a private matter between the individuals and the church if they're part of one, mosque, whatever, doesn't matter. That is really not a government function. And of course, people say things like, "Well, what happens if they split up? Well, I mean, what would they do with the money and all this other stuff?" And you know, the courts can still figure out stuff about child custody and whatnot. That happens between unmarried couples all the time. As for how they split their assets, the same way roommates would split their assets. How many couples live together as boyfriend and girlfriend, never get married, and then split up? Plenty. And they decide how to split their assets. They figure it out without the government. In fact, when the government gets involved, that just takes more money and more time and more hassle, and it ends up making everything worse. The government getting involved in marriage increases domestic violence. It increases the amount of financial fraud, people trying to hide money from the courts. It increases the squabbling and the fighting It increases the amount of infighting and attempting to get people on your side to agree with you and trying to get witnesses to say that, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I am so gonna die if I try this, but whatever. As long as they stay there. Oh, shit. I knew that was gonna happen. I got a few free shots off, though, huh? But hey, this thing is going to kill them very quickly compared to everything else. Look at that. Woo, boy. Come and get me, you fat-ass hog. Shit. I asked for it, literally. And that's what he got in return. They're weak to lightning. That's for show. I don't think I need this shit. But you know what? I have not cleaned out the bottomless box on this character, so whatever. Oh, whoop. Went right by it. Let's use a couple of these. As in 5. 5 is now a couple, guys. So yeah, take some time to yourself. Be alone. It's best, actually, if you live by yourself, completely alone. Now, if you have roommates, that's fine. Don't intentionally move away and, you know, spend more money than necessary. But if you can get off by yourself and be totally alone, just you in whatever place you live. It was just me in this house for a while. Yeah, I kept the house. Don't think that during a divorce, at that point, I think your wife becomes an ex-wife at the point of divorce filing, or at the point at which you choose to be divorced. That's a decision you make. To me, saying wife and ex-wife is the same as saying boyfriend or girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend. So for me, obviously girlfriend, not boyfriend. To me, I don't go to the government to get permission to say, can I call my girlfriend an ex-girlfriend now? Can I get a sheet of paper that says I can do that? No, that would be stupid. That would be ridiculous. That would be insane. That would just be nuts. No, you don't get permission from the government to call your girlfriend an ex. You just when you choose, your girlfriend becomes an ex-girlfriend. It's your choice. You decide on your own unilaterally. No one else does. Same thing for me with wife. I choose when my wife becomes an ex-wife. My wife became an ex-wife long before the divorce was finalized. Long before that. That's just government paperwork. Government paperwork is just bullshit. I can tell you right now, guys, the older you get and the more time you spend in this world, the more you'll realize that 90% of what the government does is just pure bureaucratic bullshit. Wasted bullshit, wasted money, wasted time, wasted effort. So, yeah, that's... And if you don't believe me, ask someone in government. They'll tell you most of what government is and does is bullshit. That's not news. Let's do this. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. Alright. Listen here, buddy. You dead. Alright. Let's see if I can get this guy's trident. Do I have intelligence on this build? No, damn. I would like to do a channeler build, perhaps, but I get the feeling it might be a little difficult. I might find that the channeler's trident doesn't do a lot of damage. The armor's not that great, but I could stock them up with sorcery. It would be a casting build. I so rarely do caster builds, as you guys notice. I like to keep that topped off, and now we's gonna warps ourselves to the undead parish. It's actually pronounced parish, guys. Don't copy that. The more time you spend by yourself, the more you can read, and read some good books. I'm not talking like corny self-help books. You're not reading shit from Joel Osteen or who's that other guy? This one, Tony Robbins. Is that it? Am I getting that right? Tony Robbins. Don't read that stupid shit. Don't read the feel good afterwards, but take really nothing of significant value away from it. Generic advice. Read The Rational Male by Rollo Tomasi. Read No More Mr. Nice Guy by Glover. Read, I wish I got my book list. It's not, I don't have it handy, but there's 3 books in the Rational Mail series, so you could do all three of those. Read The Tactical Guide to Women by Sean T. Smith. I think that's his name. These are some great books that will teach you a lot. I think you'll get a lot of value out of them. Golly. His is so long compared to mine. That's what she said. Oh, wait, hang on. That doesn't make any sense. This is not going to be easy. He's going to do the jump. Oh my gosh. How much damage does this do? Almost as much as a regular hit. Maybe? Let me try to get him to do another lightning shot, and then I'll run in. No, let's try that again. Do another one. Oh, I rolled right into it. Like a boss. Got him. That's what I wanted right there, in case I do another build with a boss weapon. Want those Demon Titanite shards, or Demon Titanite chunks, or what? Just Demon Titanites. Titanite, I think is how it's supposed to be pronounced. Titanium, Titanite. Makes sense, right, guys? What? I can't one-shot these guys? That's stupid. So by spending time alone, you get to read a lot. You get to focus on yourself, your own goals and missions in life. Spend a lot of time getting your diet and exercise down. Fine-tune your workout program. I know right now it's hard because gyms are closed, but you could buy some workout bands, resistance bands. If you haven't started working out yet, perfect time to use resistance bands. Perfect time to use body weight. Look up one of those body weight exercises at home. Body weight exercise program at home, something like that. And just do it. If the less working out you've done in your life, the more you can do with less. You can do a lot with nothing. Just getting up and moving and lifting your own body weight is going to do a lot for you. Get your diet in order. Start researching keto, research paleo, research healthy fats. I recommend you follow guys like Thomas DeLauer, Eric Berg. There's a couple other good ones that talk about diet and nutrition on YouTube. And, decide what works for you. If maybe, you don't want to go full-on keto, but you think paleo is a good thing, like a kind of modified paleo, because you want to avoid gluten and processed foods. Do what ultimately works for you. You have to find a diet that you can stick with. Not a diet in terms of like, eat less. No, a diet in terms of the nutrition you're getting, the foods you're eating, the meals you're making. You need something that you can live with day to day on a permanent basis. Not something you use temporarily to lose a little bit of weight for a month or a couple of weeks. Take this time to learn a new skill. Maybe you've always wanted to play the guitar, or you have an old guitar that you haven't done much with, or a piano, or maybe you want to learn to drive a stick shift. Guys, I relearned how to drive stick shift. I drove one briefly in college, and then I relearned how to drive one on my girlfriend's car, and then I bought a stick shift car myself. I have a 6-speed manual, turbo, 2-liter turbo, 4-cylinder inline 6-speed manual transmission. All right, let's switch back. By the way, guys, to women that don't know how to drive a stick shift, if you know how to drive a stick shift, when you go pick them up to go on a date, it'll be very impressive. Trust me. People are impressed. Anyone who doesn't drive stick shift, doesn't know how, is very impressed by those who do. They think it's harder than it is. And the thing I love about it, it's a skill. It's a skill that's dying off. It's rare. It's unique. And it's something that you don't see very often, so it makes you stand out a bit. And It's something that gives you confidence, because you know that if you screw up, that engine's gonna die on you. Especially older cars. Like some of the newer ones, like have built-in anti-stall measures, where you almost have to try to stall it. I mean, if you really fuck it up, you can always stall a manual, even the nicer, newer ones. But you know that if you do that wrong, if you pop that clutch too fast, and if you're on a slight incline and don't give it enough gas, it's going to stall. And if you pop the clutch too fast, even on flat ground, it's probably going to stall most of them. So there's a sense that you're keeping that car running. It's not running itself. It's not shifting itself. You're shifting it. You're making it happen. You're in control. It's that man-machine connection. That's just really cool. Damn. I knew I was going to get roasted right there. Shit. This is not going well. Fudge. No, is this going to be perpetually behind trying to heal? Oh. Golly. This is going to be... this is not easy when you... Oh, fuck. Being able to fast roll makes a huge difference. One, two. 1, 2. Okay. This medium roll is killing me, literally and figuratively. I tried to go for a third one. I shouldn't have. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. I probably should have run in there and attacked rather than healed. Got him. Whew. It was a little hairy there for a minute. I win. Yeah, time alone. Some of you guys have probably never truly been alone for any length of time. It really, really shows you a lot about yourself. Like, you realize a lot more about yourself than you ever will with people. So, it can be a very interesting, very valuable, very telling, very revealing time to be alone. You hear things and your own thoughts that you don't normally hear when you're surrounded by people all the time. And it only comes from that long-term time alone. Like, you know, you get home from work, it's just you. That's it. You got nothing scheduled with anybody else. It's just you. That's powerful. You also realize what messes you make, what you do, how much you need to clean up. Let's see. Because there's no one else there, so you can't blame it on anyone else. And you realize what level of cleanliness you have in your own home. You realize how well you can maintain and decorate and set everything up and organize. And guys, a perfect chance to get stuff together. When your home is together, it's easier to get your life together. They show that clutter in your life can have a negative impact on your brain and how you think. Your thought process, your cognitive function can also be cluttered, to use a generic term. That's not a technical scientific term, but if your life is cluttered up with junk, it's likely there's some extra junk in your brain. So clean everything up, organize your desk, organize your dresser drawers, organize your closet, organize your life, organize your brain. I could do a heavy build playthrough with the Guardian set. That might be fun. Although, like I said, I've done a heavy build playthrough before. It's still on my channel. It's called Dark Souls Heavy Build. Just not the biggest fan. I've never done an Ornstein playthrough, so this is new. Whoop. I like to skip all that crap. Whoa. Bye-bye. By the way, you cannot attack that dragon. He's not susceptible to attacks. That's why you can also phase right through him. Seriously? That took way too many hits. So, once you spend that time alone, you realize more about yourself, and you realize what parts of you came from women. What aspects of your personality were incited by women, and you can consider how to not do that. Like, one thing you'll realize is if you're by yourself for a while, intentionally or not, and then suddenly you get in a relationship, what you might start to realize is, you know what? I just realized, like, when I was by myself, I was happy. I liked myself. I was doing fine. And then I realized that as soon as I got with a chick, I started doing these things that I don't like, and I started hating the way I was behaving. And yes, you'll realize the things that women bring out of you, and that ultimately, of course, yes, that's your responsibility. That's your fault. You have to deal with that. You have to figure out how can you get to the point where if you do get in a relationship, they don't bring out those negative qualities that you don't want in yourself. You know, instead of just blaming women and saying, women are at fault, women are the problem. Instead, look at yourself as the source of the problem and fix it. I think that's one of the best things you can do in life is see yourself as the problem and fix it. I'm not saying you are always the problem. There are guys out there on Twitter, the wisdom mogul. I call them the Twitter wisdom moguls. That's kind of the phrase I come up with for them. They're on there saying, you know, whatever you have in life is what you've earned. You get what you deserve, and nobody's to blame but yourself. And okay, that's all well and good until, you know, you're walking down the street and some drunk driver, you know, rolls up on the sidewalk and runs you over and breaks your legs, and you know that's not your fault. That's not your fault. You got to live with it though. One thing these Twitter wisdom moguls are correct about, no matter what is or isn't your fault, you have to live with it. Good, bad, and everything in between. You have to. There's just no other choice. Nobody else can. I mean, if you're paralyzed from the waist down, you're paralyzed from the waist down. Medical science can do nothing for you. You gotta live with it, period. That's it. You can just sit around feeling sorry for yourself. You can live with it. And that's just the way it is in life, you know? That does not do as much as I'd hoped it would on him. 1, 2, 3. Shoot. 1. Oh shit, I meant to roll sideways and rolled into it. This is my bad. Oh, that was a good dodge on my part. 1. Got some good damage in there. Probably didn't need to roll that, but I did. 1, 2, 3. I'm getting some extra shots in here that I don't normally get, darn it. And then I pay for it. Oh shit, I rolled too early. Oh. One, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna drink. Okay. I could have got 2 more hits on him, but I wanted to drink instead. One. The extra range on this is actually really helpful for this fight. Yeah, this extra range is super helpful. I think I got this, but we'll see. Could still die easily. Oh, what the fuck? Did you guys see that? It pulled me from the side. No way did that actually hit me. That was bullshit. Gotta call bullshit on that one. Oh, shit. Told you I could still die. Bad time to do that, buddy. It just cost you your life, my friend. He had to do his little roar. Alright, well, nice. Usually takes me at least 2 turns to take him down. Like, I have to do my warm-up, and then I get him on the next one or the one after that. This is where tons of PvP was, early on at least. But let's do some endurance. We need 20,000 souls. We can get that. We can get that. We'll pop the Guardian Soul, because that doesn't, that's not useful for anything else. And then... how about that? And then... one more. That should be enough. Alright. And also, guys, when you're alone building yourself up, you're able to... oh, no, that's not enough. Let's try this again. You're able to make decisions about whether you like yourself in your current condition, what you think you need to improve, what you need to improve, and how you want to go about doing that. When you're in a relationship, it can be very difficult to really figure out how much is you and how much is you with this girl. And granted, I mean, it's all you. You're doing it. You're responsible for it. But it's useful to know if you're doing this because you're with a girl, or if you're doing this because it's just you by yourself. It's just something you do on your own. You need to figure out who you are by yourself in order to figure out who you are with other people. And one thing about being alone, especially living totally alone without even any roommates, you can do what I like to call a hard reset on your own life. Sometimes what people need is just to hit the reset button, to kind of clear their thoughts, clear their mind, and say, you know what? I am going to kind of start over. You can't 100% start over, but for many people, they move to a new town, move to a new city, move to a new country sometimes. Start a new job. Maybe you just go to a different college, whatever it is that you're doing at the time. And that allows you to really reevaluate yourself, take a step back, and decide where you want to go from there. You get away from everything that's sort of locking you in and making you feel like this is who you are, this is what you need to do, this is where you need to go, and all that. And sometimes that involves getting away from your parents because they put expectations on you, so you'll have to kind of put a little distance between you and them. That may include getting away from a woman that is putting some... oh, man. Putting some pressure on you to do this or to do that. You need to be able to be the kind of man that it is not a significant threat to your goals in life to have a woman pressuring you. That just doesn't it doesn't impact you that much. For many men, a woman pressuring him is like a huge deal. That will decide the direction of his life. He will cave in almost all cases. You need to be able to be at the point where a woman pressuring you to do something is not a big deal to you, where you're not necessarily going to cave. And once you're at that point where you know that you can kind of hold your own, even with a woman who's demanding that you be this and you do that, it's a whole different world for you at that point. You figure out who you really are and where you're really going in life. Let me tell you something. I'd like to play through the game as Marvelous Chester. Has anyone done that yet? Figured out a way to hack the game so you can play through as Marvelous Chester and have all of his moves? Be able to shoot that, throw those little 3 darts, and do that swiping, roundhouse, whatever it is. Those are so cool. I think that'd be a fun NPC to play the game as. Probably pretty doable, too. Excuse me, guys. Ooh. It's all that COVID-19 phlegm. I'm kidding, by the way. COVID-19 is a dry cough. We might actually open... Yeah, I think we're going to get all the way to the point where we can open up the shortcut before we end this episode. Come here, buddy. I don't want that lady shooting at me from back there. Uno, dos. Alright, let's drink up. Yeah, so building yourself up, very important. You want to continue to do that even in a relationship, but it's just easier to do when you're not in a relationship. So if you're not in a relationship, don't see that as some sort of big negative to lament. Be like, wow, this is a great opportunity to build myself, to build my fortune. You can save money far more easily when you're not in a relationship. You can focus better on what you want to do with your life. You can focus more on working out. You can focus more on eating right because there's not as much going out to eat and her wanting to go get ice cream and this, this and that and all that jazz. It's more about just what you want. You don't have to balance it with what someone else wants and is trying to get you to do. So don't see it as a negative. Don't lament the fact that you don't have a girlfriend right now. Be thankful that you can focus so much on yourself right now instead. So that's one way to look at it, guys, and I think a great way to look at it. There is no shortage of value to being alone. I think as a society we tend to see being alone as a negative, but I don't see it that way at all. When I was alone, so to speak, I felt great most of the time. I didn't really feel lonely. I felt lonelier with a wife in the house who didn't really care about me. With a wife in the house who I knew was saying negative things about me behind my back. Loneliness is not going to bed alone. Loneliness is going to bed with someone who doesn't love you anymore. That was a phrase I heard somewhere. I don't remember who said it, so don't quote it as something I made up. I didn't make that up. Where's the... Am I missing it already? There's supposed to be a place where I can roll off. Oh, it's on this side. Okay. It's over here. And this is where you're pretty much meant to go through this area because these guys drop large Titanite shards, so that kind of gives you an idea of where FromSoft expects you to be at that point in the game. They expect you to need large Titanite shards. So that kind of tells you where along the upgrade path you're expected to be. If these guys drop chunks, then that would tell you where they'd expect you to be as well. So, if you die before picking... If this drops on the ground and you die before picking it up, dude, it is gone forever. It never comes back. You lose this key and it's that area of the game is locked out permanently. You cannot talk to Go. You cannot interact with the... You cannot fight the dragon. So, just be aware of that. I think there's a way to get above... Well, whatever. We'll go down here. We're running low on time. So just remember, women come and go, but you will always be there. So, act as if... Oh, damn, I'm facing the wrong way. Act as if you're the most important person in the world. And I know that sounds selfish, but in a way, you sort of have to have this enlightened sense of selfishness. As Rollo Tomasi would call it, enlightened self-interest. Because the alternative is just not a positive thing for anybody. Just sacrificing who you are and what you are. You're unhappy, your girl will be unhappy, everything will just be bad. It doesn't benefit anyone. So, I know there's certain things out there, but there are other teachings to always sacrifice yourself, and men are taught to think it's great to sacrifice who they are. I don't think that's great. I think that's terrible that men just sacrifice everything about themselves, their goals and life ambitions and direction and their mission, their health, their fitness, their diet, their money, just throw it all away for a woman. And then eventually, in many cases, she stops having sex with him, starts talking shit about him to all the family members and friends. He's not even getting what are supposed to be the benefits of a relationship. Because the benefit of having a woman there is her affection. The benefit that you're both supposed to have is you're both supposed to share affection, share intimacy, and share finances. And when she's not sharing intimacy, affection, or, finances, if she's not sharing intimacy and affection, then that's really most of the value gone right there. I mean, you can make money. That's not the biggest deal for most guys. For most guys, the main value is the intimacy and affection, not, oh, she makes some money. And one thing I heard from a guy who has a YouTube channel, Better Bachelor, he's sort of part of the MGTOW movement, men going their own way. He doesn't believe in long-term relationships, so you have to take that into account. He's got a different perspective. I like to follow people with different perspectives all over the place. He talks about how... Hang on a second. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Oh. I don't think you can stagger this guy, can you? I just lost my train of thought on what I was going to say about what he said. And there we go. This guy always drops a piece of chainmail, which we don't need, so... Well, I guess not always. He didn't drop it that time. We're going to make it to the next bonfire. Good. I lost my train of thought. I can't remember what I was going to say about that. Oh, that one of the purposes of divorce law was that when divorce happens, the idea is that in the past, especially in the past, not so much now, the woman wouldn't have any means of financial support, so the guy would have to continue to support her, at least for a short period of time, after he leaves her. That way he wouldn't leave her high and dry, because she wasn't working, she was taking care of kids, she was doing, whatever. That was the idea behind it. Of course, that's different now, and the laws haven't changed. The courts still act like it's the fucking 1950s and rape men in court financially, but that's neither here nor there. I got a much better deal than what I could have gotten. Trust me, guys. Mine was a nightmare, but it could have been a lot worse. I stood my ground. I didn't give in. I kept the house. I remained in the house. She was forced to leave. I kept the house at the end of it all. And I didn't have to pay her half as much as I was, I think, legally required to. Had it gone to court. Well, when I say legally required to, I don't mean like it's actually in the law, but what a judge probably would have ruled on, because judges are notoriously anti-man. Whether they're men or women, they fucking hate men in family court. They think they're being fair and whatnot, because of course they are, but then again, probably Nazi prison guards thought they were fair too, so, make of that what you will. But the idea was that, he's leaving, so he needs to help her a little bit, but the problem becomes that the main benefit for men is her affection and intimacy. The main benefit for women is his affection and finances. They both lose the affection, but the thing is here, she gets to keep a lot of the finances while he gets none of the intimacy. So the advantage is all her, not him. Now granted, women in their 20s and 30s nowadays are starting to make more money than men. So will the courts keep up with that? Will the courts change and start giving men alimony? They have not, and as a general rule, no. As a general rule, no, because it's not about who makes more money. It's about benefiting women at the expense of men. It's all about that feminist agenda, guys. The more you see it, the more you'll realize there is a gynocentric feminine imperative to raise women up at the expense of men, and the more you get involved in family court, the more you'll see it. I hope you don't. My recommendation, don't get married. I cannot stress that enough. Don't get married, don't get married, don't get married, don't get married. And if you're absolutely going to do it, get a rock-solid prenup where you each have a lawyer and renew that prenup at least once every 3 years. Hey guys, I'm Fox with FoxeoGames. I hope you're looking forward to the third episode. The first episode, corrected episode, is online now if you haven't seen that, so you can go on my channel and see it. Make sure to hit the notification bell icon after you subscribe so you see all my videos. Next episode of reviewing my Steam library will be coming out soon. I think you guys will like it. A new series that I really do like, allows me to pump out videos at a faster pace. And with that, make sure to follow me on social media, Twitter most of all. I'm Fox with FoxeoGames. I'll see you guys later.